All right, here we go. We're live. I'm sorry, this exposure is really bad right now. It's very hard to see me. Thank you all for tuning in. Once again, got this amazing, I keep leaning the wrong way, got this amazing view of Los Angeles behind me. Really, it is probably my favorite place to be recording a video ever so far. I have to say our Dubai headquarters are pretty bloody fantastic. Literally being inside the Burj Khalifa. I think that's very cool. But this is close in terms of, I'd actually say this is better, to be honest. So how's everyone doing? Let me know if you can hear me okay, if you can see me okay as well. And let's get into this analysis with Bitcoin. It's been looking very, very good. It's been looking healthy, you know, and healthy does not mean bullish. This is something that's important to... Great green screen. Wow, you guys literally saw the blinds going down, and this is still a green screen. I can't win. But, you know, this is something where, you know, healthy does not mean bullish. You know, healthy just means that the market is moving in predictable ways. So when I say things like yesterday in Telegram, I said that we saw a really nice dump down to support at 30K. When I say things like that, by nice, I mean tradable. I mean predictable. I mean something that gives me confidence to then trade in this market. Because I don't really care if Bitcoin's fallen down from 60K down to 30K if I can make money on the way down, right? If I can make money on the way down, which I did, which many VIP members did. Shout out to VIP members. We've now by the way, just now, we've passed 1,200 members, which is very, very cool. Yeah, way above 1,200 actually. So super, super impressive results that we've seen there. You know, if I can make money on the way down, I don't really care if it's bearish or bullish, you know, because eventually I do expect Bitcoin to continue toppling all-time highs. And one of the key things I'm going to be talking to you about in this live stream is actually the psychology of the market. Guys, the amount of people who think that this market is dead right now, yeah. That's not... Look, I don't know. This is one of those things where I actually have a pretty decent chance of being wrong. I actually have a pretty high chance of being wrong about this in this market, for sure. This is one of those things where I could be wrong about it. But what you guys need to keep in mind right now, ladies and gents, is that when the market does, if it does, actually finally top out, right? And we get a big, big bear market, minus 80% crash or whatever. When that actually happens, people are not going to believe it. Right? It's going to happen and everyone's going to be in denial. That's something very important to keep. And I'll get into the real technical analysis in just a moment. Bear with me. Smash up those likes if you're already finding this video useful, or in other words, or in any other way, just nice. But you know, when that kind of thing happens in this market, people are not going to believe it. But the amount of people who are bearish right now and think that this whole thing is dead, you know, now making memes of how everyone's lost money instead of how everyone's partying on yachts, this is very indicative of the market not actually topping out, in my opinion. I've seen this a lot. I've gone through it a lot, where we'll have massive, massive corrections downwards, and people will completely lose faith in the market. And I've also seen it where the market will finally top out, and nobody believes it, not even myself. So, you know, that's just my, that's my 4 flies 2 Satoshis right there before I get into the real technical analysis. It's called denial, exactly, and we're not experiencing denial right now. People are buying it. People are actually believing it. So this is not denial, in my opinion. We're not there yet. Let's see what else we have here. So this is great. This is very, very good, what we're seeing in this market. And let's go straight to the analysis now with that, because what we have seen, my God, is it's just absolutely beautiful, predictable, healthy price action. We fell out of this rising wedge. I warned you guys we could be looking at another big, big dump. You guys saw it happening. Shout out to those of you who hit up the likes and subscribe to this YouTube channel as well, because you would have seen that absolutely beautifully play out. We ended up dumping all the way down to 32, actually a little bit lower to $31,000, which is smack bang in the middle of my range right here. I said basically between 30K here and 32K would be my area of support, and just perfectly finding support in this range. So I'm very happy to be seeing that right now. Sorry about that. And then from there, Bitcoin managed to rally up to $38,000. So this again is also very, very good. This is very healthy price action. I think I'm quite happy with it. Bitcoin managing to rise up from 30K all the way up to 38K is a decent rally. And it looks like it could actually be a bull trap. So here we go to the title of the live stream. Don't trust this Bitcoin bounce. We could actually be in a bull trap. Well, first of all, what is a bull trap? Let's take it over to Investopedia. Ladies and gents, I know that there's a lot of people who are new in this market right now, so I must make you aware of this website, Investopedia. Everything here, most things here that you're going to be looking at are free. So this is a great free resource. This is a resource that I used to use a lot when I was starting out in this market. Investopedia is like the Wikipedia for trading and investing. And they break down, you know, fairly, I mean, this is not a complicated concept. Bull traps are quite easy to understand, but they break down complicated things in very easy to understand ways. And if you're new to the market, or even if you're experienced, you need to be on Investopedia, completely free. I'm not even sponsored by them. I just love them. This is the best free resource other than the Four Flies YouTube channel, in my opinion, that I think exists on the internet. So please check it out. Bull trap. What is a bull trap? A bull trap is a false signal referring to a declining trend in a stock that reverses after a convincing rally and breaks a prior support level. So let me just dumb this down into English really and show you an example. An example of a bull trap right here is, first of all, look, we're in a downtrend. It's trending downwards very, very nicely. Then immediately you get a big spike upwards and the trend continues on downwards. And you can see that the candle is now trading at about 0.50 instead of where it spiked up on this bull trap to nearly 1.4. It's essentially where you're in a downtrend and you spike up. The bulls get very excited, so they get caught in a trap. Right now there's long positions opened up here, so they're trapped in their long positions now, and the price starts declining again. We saw this quite clearly on the way down a lot. You know, I mean, this was probably right here. This was probably the easiest example of a bull trap, although it didn't materialize as well as most others, because we did actually come back up to this high again 3 times. So that's not really a bull trap. But if we didn't come back up to this level, this would definitely be a bull trap in my opinion, where the trend is obviously overwhelmingly to the downside, but we do get one spike up. Bulls get very, very excited. We get what's called a relief rally, where people who were previously very scared, very upset with this market, are now actually feeling quite happy, quite positive. I'm going to put these shades up because I actually prefer the view in the background, where they are actually quite excited in the market. But of course, it is only temporary, and then things start getting very bad very shortly afterwards, and you do kind of continue that trend downwards. And I absolutely think that this could be something similar. I do think that there is some potential to go up to 42, although not super likely, but still possible. But overall, I think that this thing is going to have to trend back down towards $30,000. And I think what we could actually be forming if something like that happens is maybe we just kind of peak above this level a little bit, but then come back down. I think we are going to start forming something like a descending triangle, ladies and gents. And this is a little bit difficult to show you because I have drawings on every single chart here, but let me just remove this rising wedge. I think I've taken enough credit for this beautiful TA by now. I know it gets a little bit annoying when I keep on taking credit for the same things, but I have to. I'm a YouTuber, so it's kind of part of my job. But we do have a beautiful beginning setup for a descending triangle right here. I mean, this already looks really good to me. You know, Bitcoin forming a descending triangle right here would not be surprising at all, in my opinion. This just means Bitcoin has to peak a little bit higher, maybe about $1,000 higher, and then continuing to trade in a descending triangle like this. This would be the perfect setup for Bitcoin to then break down towards $20,000, or, you know, I mean, it can break upwards. You know, I mean, it is typically considered to be a 33% chance that the market will break upwards from this kind of pattern, and a 66% chance that it will break downwards. So, you know, both ways are certainly possible in this market. And you know, it's down to you to kind of decide which way you think those odds will go. But, you know, forming some sort of continuation pattern, this is what I want to dial you guys into looking for right now, because the trend is still overwhelmingly bearish, and there's going to be a lot of noise in between. There's going to be a lot of things that are potentially, you know, grabbing your attention, you know, thinking that perhaps this is going to go back up to $50,000. But what's more likely? Is it more likely that we're going to spike back up to 50K and 60K, or is it more likely that we're actually going to be in a little bit of a bearish continuation pattern? You know, one thing I want to qualify coming off the back of my previous video where I said that this is the most important Bitcoin bear market video you need to watch, and I'm sorry for the titles, but one of the things I was talking about in that video is that I certainly think we're going to end up topping the all-time high. But before we get there, someone actually correctly pointed out we're taking the scenic route. We might end up going down to 24K first and then back up to 60K. You know, and I think something like that is actually very possible. So, you know, it's worth keeping in mind that even though my long-term projections for Bitcoin, like most of the people, are still pretty bullish, short-term, it looks fucking shit. It looks terrible. And so, you know, we need to be open about that. We need to, you know, kind of acknowledge those risks and really keep them in mind, because, you know, while long-term, I think it still obviously looks spectacular, short term, we are in a bearish trend, and until I've seen signs that will change that, which I haven't, well, we're staying in a bearish trend as far as I'm concerned. And what kind of signs am I looking for? Well, I think one of the key signs to be looking for in this market are, just potential reversal patterns. Are we showing that we've potentially formed a double bottom? That would actually be quite convincing. A double bottom, something a little bit like this. Bear with me. I hate all the air conditioning in hot countries. It's very annoying. A double bottom formation could definitely be something that indicates that we are going to end up trading higher. But this does not qualify as a good enough double bottom, in my opinion. Why? Well, quite simply, there's only one key reason for it. The first bottom we set was on the 19th of May. The second bottom we set was on the 23rd of May. So these are only 4 days apart. And that means that on a macro scale, as soon as you zoom out a little bit, we haven't really set a double bottom. It would be more of a double bottom if they were more spaced out. So if the first bottom was here and the second one was, for example, towards the end of July, early August, that would be well enough spaced out to then tell me that we can start trading higher. But we haven't done that yet. So, the fact that we did bottom out here twice is good. It's okay. It shows us that support is working. But I would need to see it tested on a much larger time frame to then tell me that actually, yeah, this is holding, because this right now is quite short term, so I don't want to get misled by that. And then again, that's really just showing me that things are still pretty bearish. In terms of resistance on this chart, we're now facing 4-hour Ichimoku resistance very, very soon. This is gonna start giving the trend some trouble just within in this week. By Friday, this is going to start giving the trend a little bit of trouble if Bitcoin doesn't find trouble before then. On the EMA ribbon, the exponential moving average ribbon, which has been very useful since we established the spread right here, literally 100% success rate. Bam, rejection, 2, 3, 4, 5, nearly 6, currently potentially 7. Now, a spread means where you can see each line individually, where you can individually make out each line. And if you don't know what this indicator is or how to get it, then I made a video on it, which is part of the wider Four Flies Academy courses. Most VIP members, depending on which plan they take, will get free access into those courses. But the EMA Four Flies video right here, if you just type this into YouTube, if you open a new tab right now, type this into YouTube letter for letter, exactly like I wrote it, you'll be able to watch my tutorial on the EMA ribbon, how to get it, how to use it, my best practices, and so on. And if you like it, then that's a taster for our paid products as well. So you can get a little bit more information on what we offer on the paid side by following these steps on screen. But this EMA ribbon definitely giving Bitcoin a little bit of resistance here. This resistance stretches up to about $40,000. So we can definitely get rejected by this downward trending resistance line, and that would still make a lot of sense for the trend. And we're seeing that even with the 1 hour time frame. I'm sorry, no, we're not. We're starting to find some support from the 1 hour time frame. Ichimoku resistance is there a little bit. It's barely there at all, not really worth taking note of, which is a potential sign that we're starting to reverse things on very small time frames, but it's way too early to start drawing conclusions on that kind of time frame. And if we switch it to the daily chart, we have now turned our support, unfortunately, into resistance. That is pretty bad, and EMA resistance will catch up to the trend within the early days of June if we are somehow still trading here within the next 2 weeks. So that is also something that, all cylinders really, apart from the very, very small time frames, are showing us that we're still firing bearish, and that is not good. That is, when we're starting to spike up like this inside of such a bearish rally, and all mid to long-term time frames, even short to long-term time frames, are still kind of bearish. That's not looking good to me. The chances that this can actually trigger a big rally to the upside, I think, are quite slim. But here's what would make it much more likely. I think if Bitcoin was able to get to 42,000 and actually go above it, to close above 42,000, perhaps on the daily time frame, that would be pretty sweet. That would be pretty good if Bitcoin was able to close above 42,000. And the reason that I think that would be such a good idea, such a healthy thing for the trend on the bullish side, is that this is actually previously where Bitcoin topped out. So if Bitcoin is able to get higher than that now, that would mean that we're now actually setting higher highs, and we're potentially getting out of that trend of setting lower highs, because previously, this is very obvious to spot. We've just continuously been setting highs that have been getting lower in this market. Take a look at this. Each high that we're setting has definitely been getting lower in this market. And so if we start to kind of peak up here, that would be a sign that we're now starting to reverse that trend and actually trade upwards. Not only that, this was a previous area of resistance, which means that we're going to break a nice area of resistance. It was also support, which means that we're going to reestablish an area as support, which could be, I think, the most bullish thing possible in this trend right now. And if we zoom out even further, and this is the main thing really, this $42,000 level used to be the all-time high for Bitcoin. So many of you guys have still been in this market since this point, and you will remember when Bitcoin topped out at $42,000, it actually triggered a pretty big correction, a minus 30% correction roughly. It lasted about 20 days, maybe 30, depending on how you calculate it. 20 days down to the low, and then 30 days to break the all-time high. So, a fairly sizable correction. And for that reason, I think that this is actually quite an important area in the market. And once again, I mean, that just means that if Bitcoin can manage to rise above that level, that's where things start looking really good to me. If it does start to rise above this level, I would look at potentially finding support. Like if it rises up to say 43,000, 44, and then falls back down to 42, that's where I'm going long on Bitcoin. That's where I'm actually going to be buying a lot more Bitcoin back. One could ask me, well, if I'm going to buy Bitcoin up here, why don't I just buy it right now? And the reason that I wouldn't buy it right now, and I would actually buy it over here, and this is the trading side of things, which a lot of people don't really take into consideration. But if you've been in the market for a while, if you've taken the time to learn, by being in groups like 4Fly's VIP, by having access to our amazing academy courses where I'm teaching you everything I know about trading from A to Z, then what you'll know is that yes, you can actually choose an entry level, which would be, and this is quite a significant amount, this entry level would be 12% better than if I enter at 42,000. You can do that. I would be losing 12% of my profit if I didn't enter right now, but my risk is a lot higher. The thing is, right now, ladies and gents, we are still in a downtrend. We have not, this is very important, ladies and gents, we have not flipped old resistance areas as new support yet. If we managed to climb above this level and came back down, we would flip an old level of resistance into a new level of support, and that would be extremely bullish. That would tell me that actually the chances after Bitcoin doing something like this, the chances of Bitcoin actually collapsing down are very slim, very, very low chances of something like that happening. And if that's the case, then actually that's giving me a lot of confidence that this thing can continue rallying higher. Right now, I don't have that confidence. Right now, this trend is actually a lot more murky. It's a lot less obvious what's going to happen. I think it's leaning a lot more bearish because we haven't done things that are intrinsically very bullish right now. We've only been forming relief rallies, and these relief rallies have been failing, right? So, the fact that we're finding resistance at 38K again, this is not something that can give me confidence in how bullish the trend is or how bullish it's going to be. And so if I just wait and enter a long position up here, my risk is going to be way lower. And this is actually where very important risk to reward calculations start taking place. You could be losing out on 12% of your reward. And this is quite hard to calculate, but how much risk are you going to be minimizing? I would say that the risk of taking a long position up at 42 is probably, for example, 50% lower than the risk of taking a long position right here. That means I would be feeling twice as safe going long up here as I would down here, and that means my risk is way lower. My reward is only down by 12%. And, keeping in mind, if I'm going long at 42,000, I'm going to be targeting a level a lot more like 50,000. That's still a 20% rise up just from here. If I manage to enter right here and I play it up to 50,000, that's still 33%, which is great. 33% is huge without leverage. But gaining 20% where I minimize risk massively is absolutely huge. That's a really, really big range. And you got to bear in mind, because I'm 4Flies, I'm going to be playing this on leverage. This is a tool that I absolutely love. I love trading on leverage. It's the only thing I do. People always ask me, do I invest? Do I hold X? Do I hold Y? I don't hold anything. The only thing I do is trade on leverage, because in my opinion, this is the fastest, safest, and most efficient way to grow money from small amounts to large amounts. What we're all about is wealth creation. If you've got a couple $1 million and you're just an investor and you're looking to gain 10% a year, you're not even watching this YouTube channel. But if you're trying to build small amounts into large amounts, whether it's small means $100 or $10,000 into large amounts, this is what this channel is about. That's what I'm aiming to do as well. I'm aiming to keep my investments in Bitcoin, but once you've got an investment, you can't do anything with it anymore. So there's no point talking about it. With the money that I've got in active trades, I'm only looking to leverage this up. So a 20% trade using 10 times, 5 times leverage, that becomes a 200% or 100% profit respectively, which would either double or triple my money, depending on which leverage I chose And any of those circumstances would be absolutely phenomenal. It would be absolutely great, very, very healthy, very easy to achieve those kind of results. This is something that, again, a lot of people don't really take into account. But if you know how to use these tools, you follow the tutorials, you've learned how to manage your risk and different things like that. This is actually a very good way to be trading in this market. That means you can make money on the way down and you can make money on the way up. And that obviously puts you in a very, very profitable, very powerful position. Once again, to quote Crypto Kirby, who actually he quoted somebody else, in these markets, bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. And that is to say that if you know what you're doing and you're playing the long side, or if you know what you're doing and you're playing the short side, you will make money. But if you can't decide, or you're not doing either of them, you're just going to get slaughtered. You'll be the guy that feeds the profits of the first two. I'm aiming to be both of the first two. You can be both. And actually that I think is going to put you in a very powerful position. But are you watching this on 1.5x? No, I am just quite caffeinated. And believe me, I need it because I was terribly sick yesterday. But I think that is very, very important to keep in mind. Now, if this is all the trading side, the YouTube channel is all about the analysis side, but if you want some more insights onto my trading side of how I do these things, VIP is where it's at. We've had members that have just during this rally, I mean, take a look at this. This person making these trades on the way down, entering at 47, exiting at 51, and then obviously the market continued tumbling lower. So these are people who inside of our VIP group have been pulling absolutely stellar results, 160% profit, 20x leverage, which is fairly high, but still that's the upper boundary of what I'd consider to be safe. And you're really pushing it at 20x, but it's still okay in my opinion. Pulling a pretty nice 160% profit. He's more than doubled his money on that. That's phenomenal. That's absolutely huge. Another guy right here, very recently, $80,000 profit in one trade. Absolutely amazing. Saying thank you. That was some smooth analysis. Another VIP member right there. It goes on and on. 96% profit. Ended up closing this at over 100%. Thank you. You are a legend. Experience of VIP has been life-changing so far. To say the amount of times I've heard this line is very cool. It might just because we have large numbers, because we are, like I said, above 1,200 members now. But this person's still saying that he has so much to learn. How many times do you see people doubling their money in one trade? This person made this money on the way down. This is where I was saying that if Bitcoin falls below 50, it's probably going to fall all the way down to 42. This person actually traded that gap, the very, very same gap, doubled his money, and he's still saying that he has so much to learn. This person, on a day where everyone lost a lot of money, doubled his money, and he still says that he has so much to learn. If that's not the mindset of a winner, I don't know what is. You got to clap for this guy because this is absolutely phenomenal. I love this. This is great. If you want to join Forflies VIP and see how these people have been able to pull off these results inside of this market, it's on screen right now. First link in the description down below. It's going to take you to our free Telegram channel. This is where I'm giving you more free analysis on this market. So if you're liking these YouTube videos, you're going to love the Telegram channel. I'm giving you more analysis on these markets. And not just on Bitcoin. We cover coins like XRP. We cover coins like ADA, Cardano, Ethereum, obviously, Tron, and so on. So we cover a whole lot of altcoins, bcash as well. So a lot goes into that free Forflies Gold Telegram channel. They get pinged straight to your phone, so it's very, very useful. And if you want to take things to the next level, really see what these VIP members have been able to gain access to in order to be such good traders, in order to profit when everyone's losing money, and consistently do it, then click on the @Forflies button at the bottom of any post inside of our Forflies Gold Telegram channel, and then click on send message to ask me how to join. You can pause the live stream right now and get to that because I am going to start going through your questions right now, and then I will go back to the core analysis in just a bit. Now, unfortunately, this stream isn't going to be 2 hours long or anything. I am going to have to wrap this up in the next half an hour or so, but if you are interested in the information for that, my assistants are still online. And you can follow these steps on screen to get there. But let's go through your questions now. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Really do appreciate that. Forflies, you're the man. Thank you very much, Rupert. Love you too. This guy loves taking your money when you lose leverage. Of course. Well, if you're just clear something up for those of you who haven't realized yet. Trading is a zero-sum game. So if you're making money, that means you're taking money from somebody else. Like, this is a very brutal game. If that's not okay with you, then leave. Like, this is not a game where everybody wins and it's utopia and it's really no. Like, this is modern day. As far as I'm really stretching the word warfare right now, this is modern day warfare. Like, I'm making money because someone else is losing money. I'm taking money out of his pocket in a legal way, which is still very brutal. I mean, this is the equivalent of pillaging a country and raping the women there or whatever, and taking all of their riches like the British used to do. That's awkward. And and so and yeah, so I do love doing it because one of the cool things about trading is, and this is what I really like, when you're a good trader, it means that you are outperforming the biggest, best people in the world. Because the thing about trading, right, compared to poker or whatever, is that the better you are at poker, the higher stakes your table gets. For example, a lot of you guys watching right now, I know you play poker. The bigger you are, the better you are at poker, the harder the game gets. With trading, it doesn't matter if you're on day 1 or day 10,001. You are playing at the same difficulty level as everybody else. So if you're good, you're absolutely great. And that is really, really cool. That is very, very cool. So yeah, trading is a zero-sum game. If you're winning, if I'm winning, someone else is losing, and that's just the reality of the game. So if that doesn't sit well with you, then you're in the wrong place. And leverage trading even more so. Leverage trading is even more dangerous. But of course, higher risk, higher reward. So if you can manage that risk safely, then you're in a good place as well. I do see all your messages for VIP. Bear with me, my team is already replying to some of you guys, and you will get the rest of your responses very soon. Let me go through some more of your questions. Let's see what else we have inside of this comment section before I go back to these. Before I go back to the live stream, the analysis. Yeah, sorry, I'm having issues concentrating today because I was the thing about me is I get sick sometimes, like very, very sick, but only for one day. So you can't tell I'm sick. It just looks like I took a day off. And but I'm still feeling it. Yeah, here we go. This is a great one right here. Guacaholic. I love that username. Y'all are mad because 4Flies isn't telling you what you want to hear. Go watch Crypto. No, we're not throwing shade to Crypto because he's a nice guy. But I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what this is at the end of the day. I'm not telling people what they want to hear. I'm telling people the truth of this market, of these charts. That's actually one of the reasons this channel didn't blow up for so long. Now we are, and thank you all very much for the support. But for a long, long time, this channel was capped pretty low until obviously we start going bearish, and everyone was like, oh, okay, 4Flies' warnings were real. But before that, it's very hard to accept what I'm trying to say. But that's precisely what makes you a good trader or investor, when you can stare reality down the bloody face and actually tell yourself that this is a bad situation and you can position yourself to start selling crypto before the big dumps start. That's what I was doing. I started telling VIP members why I was selling my holdings of Bitcoin when Bitcoin was where? Bam, $52,000. I did the same thing with Ethereum on the day that Ethereum crashed. I told VIP members that I'd be selling part or all of my Ethereum holdings, and then I did. And then I also made a profit on Ethereum on leverage as well. Same day. This is... If you're aware of these kind of things, you can position yourself to profit from them. You can position yourself to exit the market when you're near the top and then re-enter when you're near the bottom. And of course, you're not going to be popular. You're not going to be likable. But are you here to be likable or are you here to get rich? Pretty easy. I mean, like, obviously most people would say, yeah, I'm here to get rich. But are you really? Are you really here to get rich? Because if you were, you wouldn't be looking to just follow moon boys who are talking about $1 million Bitcoin projections every single day and then losing your money in the trading markets because you don't have any trading discipline or any real skills. You'd be focusing on the people who are actually telling you the truth. And I gotta be fair to people like Crypto and Carl the Moon, for example. They call this stuff really well as well. They're great YouTubers. Go check them out. But yeah, I mean, that's what this is about. Anyway, let's get straight back to the analysis now because we're getting way off topic. Thank you all very much for tuning in, by the way. Please do smash up the likes if you're enjoying this live stream so far. Really do appreciate all your support lately. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so like I said, getting that little rally upwards, this is so indicative of a dead cat bounce. This is so indicative of a bull trap. We're up by 22% inside of a day. We're still in a bearish rally. We've just hit resistance. I have every reason to be bearish right now, just because we're still at resistance. We've not done anything that is inherently bullish. We did get a nice V-shaped correction. Don't get me wrong, that is cool. But the fact that we did kind of just bounce off a support level and then trade upwards very quickly. If we traded upwards slower than this, I would be a little bit more positive. But this is very much what's called a reaction rally. We're just reacting to this downward trend in equal intensity by the bulls, which means that right now the bulls, according to this drop right here, are only as strong as the bears. That's on a small time frame. On a larger time frame, we're in a disgusting downtrend. So One of the things that you hear me saying on this channel a fair bit, ladies and gents, is that if we're in a bearish trend and we do something that's neutral, because this is only neutral, this is only canceling out what the bears did. If we do something that's neutral in a bearish trend, that's immediately leaning bearish in my opinion. If we do something bearish in a bearish trend, that's leaning very, very bearish in my opinion. And of course, if we do something bullish in a bearish trend, then that's only a neutral sign to me. And the reason for that is, we can do things that, at some points look very, very attractive, very healthy in these markets. But if we're not doing them a lot, and if we are only doing them to kind of break up the trend and add some more flavor, so to speak, to the trend, then that to me is just a sign of a temporary high. And of course, that does mean it's a bull trap. So my key point for this video is that even if we do end up rising all the way up to 39,000 or even 42, there's still a lot of potential for this to be a bull trap right now, unless we climb above 42 and then potentially find some support. And this is where I'm going to be very, very bullish on what's going on here. Now, the flip side is if we do come back down, we've now tested this $30,000 level twice. So I don't know how many more tests it has. I certainly was saying that, it could probably get tested more than once, and it did. I don't know about number 3 or 4 or 5. So this is very hard to predict. Honestly, this is very, very hard to say, how many more times we can test 30K before, or if it ends up failing and we start dipping a little bit lower. But here's what I will tell you right now, ladies and gents. The more we test it, if we fall down, the harder it's going to be to break it as resistance on the way back up. So you better hope that if we are going to break down, that we don't keep on testing it, because that's going to strengthen this area as resistance on the way back up. And that is important to keep in mind, because people will know that this area acted as good support in the past. So more people will be looking to sell their Bitcoin positions, for perhaps close to break even, maybe even a small loss up at this level. That is very, very important to keep in mind. I do think that there is a decent chance of us continuing down and breaking this 30K level. I hope I'm wrong, but there is obviously a decent chance of something like that happening. And if that does happen in this market, then we are looking at dipping way lower. And just to recap you guys on what I'm seeing right there, if we do zoom out, I am looking at Bitcoin potentially, just coming all the way back down to $20,000. And the main reason for that, and I used to say kind of between 28, maybe even 24 would be good support, but in reality, it's not, in my opinion. There's no good area of support below 30K, in my opinion. Other than 20K. And the reason for that is that 30K was actually a pretty good area of support. Is a pretty good area of support. I mean, we interacted with this level for 27 days straight, that we kept on coming back down to this level. 24K, we were only trading at this range for about 8 days. 28K was less than that. So we just don't have much price history around these other price levels right now compared to $30,000, which means that $30,000 is a very strong area of support for the trend, in my opinion. And if we fail strong areas of support, that to me means that we are going to be looking to dip down perhaps as low as 20,000, because that's the next strong area of support. Ladies and gents, when you fail a strong area of support, you usually go down to the next one. This is something I was very, very vocal about, and I'm going to show you exactly what I meant by that. I kept telling you guys about the $50,000 range. This was a strong area of support that I was saying, but if we fell below that, we would fall all the way back down to 42. And we did. That's actually where we started to get some bounces all the way up to 46, which were pretty good. I mean, there's a 10% bounces nearly, pretty good bounces. But we failed this level, so we had to go down to the next strong area of support, and 38. This was my other support level, but we failed them, so we had to go down to my next strong areas of support, which were 30K. This is very predictable. If you know where the strong areas of support are, and if you know when we've broken them, you can start to predict where the trend might find support again later on. And so far, this has worked out really well. We fail one area of strong support, fall down to the next one. Fail that one, fall down to the next one. Fail that one. Well, the next one that I'm seeing right here, ladies and gents, is at the $20,000 range. And that is something that we all need to be very, very aware of, because we could be looking at another 10,000 drop at least in dollars if this thing drops below 30K. At the moment, that means we're looking at a $17,000 drop. So, and then one of the other things I said is that if we do drop down there, the nature of these kind of markets is that so many people, I think, would actually be looking to buy at $20,000 that we might not even fall as low as 20. We might just fall down to, say, 21.5. And the reason for that is that so many people want to buy at $20,000, so they want to kind of preemptively strike before the rest of the people, just in case we don't fully drop down to 20. So that means the next person's buying at 20,100. Next person, because he knows that he is doing it at 20,100, the other person's doing it at 20,200, and so on. And that might mean that we kind of bounce up at levels like 21,000, 22,000, maybe even 24 because of that. These are all very, very, how do I say, plausible situations that could play out in this market right here. So that's something I want to keep you guys in tune with. A lot of people are talking about Bitcoin potentially bottoming out at $15,000, $14,000. That would be good. That would be healthy. But I don't think that's happening. I don't think we're dipping below 20K. If we do, I really don't think so. If we do, obviously, I already became very worried when Bitcoin fell below here. That's where I kind of switched to being a lot more bearish. I said that 42 was our final area of support, but we failed it, so it's not like I can be more bearish if we, I mean, I guess I could be more bearish if we drop below 20, but overall, I don't think that this trend is over or anything like that. It's just that it would mean that we're going to be in a very long-term bear market, most likely, I think, if Bitcoin dropped below 20. Anything at 20 or above, we'd still be borderline healthy. Like you could look back at this chart 6 months later and you'd be like, actually, that was a complete 100% drawdown to the previous all-time high. That is absolutely amazing. That's super, super healthy for the trend in the long term. Below that, you have a lot of broken pieces that you're going to have to pick up, and good luck with that. That's my take there. So I'm going to switch it over to some more of the altcoins now, give you guys some insights over there. I've had a lot of a realistic bear. That's exactly what I'm aiming to be. Thank you very much. I mean, I'm bearish when the market is bearish. I'm bullish when the market is bullish. I mean, it really is that simple. Bitcoin was trending upwards. I was seeing that potentially, and I certainly still expected we were going to hit all-time highs, but I was still seeing that potentially this could be a good exit level for Bitcoin. I mentioned that it's up 1,200% since March, which is actually, this is nearly 1,300%, which is a 14 times gain in price. And I mentioned that I'm not bearish on Bitcoin, as I mentioned in videos, but what did I say? I'm selling small portions because there's simply no reason whatsoever to not lock in my profits. So I'm taking bearish trades when the market could be running out of steam. I'm taking bullish trades when the market is still firing very, very bullish, and I think it's worth being able to being able to identify those kind of things and position yourself in the right ways because of that. Because if you don't do that, you're costing yourself a lot of money. You are continuing to stroke your ego and you're feeling happy and safe and comfortable, but your Bitcoin balance isn't, and your bank account isn't either. So your bank account's pretty dry if that's your approach. So good luck with that as well. Anyway, I've gotten a lot of requests to look at Binance token, also from a VIP member, so I'm going to do that now. This is not something that I typically look at because I don't trade on Binance. I don't like Binance, but I think it's worth taking a look at because everyone keeps on asking for it. Binance token managed to peak at 670, fell all the way down to 200. That's a pretty good correction. Fell down to its only area of support for quite a long time, and it's now up a little bit with yet another, it looks like, a dead cat bounce. So I mean, I can't see this as being anything other than a dead cat bounce. I think if Binance token manages to rise above, I would have said actually, if Binance token managed to go above 288, that would negate the possibility of this being a dead cat bounce, and actually it might start trending higher. But this is not going to trend higher in reality if Bitcoin doesn't trend higher as well, in my opinion, for the most part. So as long as Bitcoin is in a bad place, I think so is Binance token, and Binance token will be worse. From the all-time high down to our current price, it's down by 53%, and down to the low, it's down by 70%. So this is pretty terrible. I mean, most the countries that you see with currency crises across the world right now, they haven't even been hit this. I mean, none of them have been hit this hard inside of a couple of weeks. So this is one of those things that you got to keep in mind, where if you're experiencing massive rallies up to all-time highs, you're also going to get kicked down just as hard. These are things that I was warning everybody about while the market was still very rosy and there was a lot of sunshine. But of course, nobody really wants to heed those warnings until they get fucked. So welcome, welcome to the club. This is how these markets work. And my only words for you guys would be, at this point, don't suffer the same lessons twice. Don't make the same mistakes twice. You've learned it now. Please don't forget it. And yeah, use it to your advantage now, because there are some lessons you need to learn the hard way. Most of them you can learn the easy way. You want to learn as many of them the easy way as possible. That's one of the key things that we're able to give you inside of the VIP group, because I've already learned most of these lessons. I'm giving them to you in real time in these markets as well. I'm telling you how I learned from previous lessons and different things like that inside of the VIP group. And it also extends all the way to just how I'm trading, giving you all the insights on every single trade that I'm making from start to finish, you know, where I'm considering a trade to where I decide to commit to it and so on. There's a lot that goes into the Force VIP group, and you can join it by following these steps on screen right here. This will take you less than 30 seconds. You can just pause the live stream. I see that a lot of you guys have reached out for VIP and you are getting your responses, so bear with me. If you haven't had your response yet, then please do wait just a little bit longer, and a member of my team will get back to you very soon. But right here, I mean, this is huge. If you do want to get in and start learning those lessons a little bit earlier, watching me trade in real time, getting all the reasonings behind what I do as well, then here you go. The steps are on screen. But we take it back to the chart right here. Binance token. Unfortunately, I don't have anything else to say beyond that. I think that if it manages to rise above 350, it could be a very easy rise up to 600. But if that happens, then I think we're already going to be up to levels like perhaps I'm sorry, bear with me. I think we're already going to be on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's already going to be breaking out if something like that happens to Binance token. Not sure what that is. Okay, I think we're all fine. But I'm going to take a final few questions from you guys and look at Ethereum as well. I don't want to look at too many other altcoins because I'm not actually very interested in them. But Ethereum against the dollar is facing some resistance right now at 2,500. And it's no surprise that it's facing resistance right here. By the way, I'm not going to stop showing you this for a while. This is where I announced to VIPs that I'd be selling Ethereum. This roughly is where I sold Ethereum. So very, very impressive exit price there. I didn't sell it against the dollar though. I sold it against Bitcoin. So it's not as good as this chart makes it look, but still pretty good. And so what we have here is Ethereum now starting to encounter a little bit of resistance at 2,500. This was an area of resistance on the way up, so it's no surprise. It's finding resistance at the same time as Bitcoin. If Bitcoin gets rejected, I think so will Ethereum. Ethereum has already dipped below 2,000, which is pretty bad. That would be the equivalent of Bitcoin dipping below, say, 29,000, which also would be pretty bad. And you guys want me to check out ADA and Matic. I'm not going to look at Matic because I don't trade it, but ADA I can definitely take a look at. But Ethereum right here, I think if Bitcoin gets knocked, Ethereum is going to really, really suffer. I think it's going to fall all the way down to 1,400, 1,500. And from our current price level, that would be a 41% crash. And from the 2,000 level, that would be a 30% crash. So still quite a little bit of blood left for Ethereum. But the good thing is TAS is astrology for the men. That is a very close-minded approach. If you've been watching these videos for anything longer than 2 days, you will know that TA works very, very well if you do it well. But again, we are just kind of balancing probabilities at the end of the day. So it is like rolling a dice, but you're rolling a weighted dice. So that's something to keep in mind. But anyway, yeah, with Ethereum, the good thing with this chart, and this is something that I really can't stress enough, is that if we manage to rise above 2,500 and Bitcoin starts looking bullish again and things like that, there is no resistance on the way up. So there's not going to be any resistance on the way up again next time, in my opinion. That means that Ethereum should be able to regain this all-time high very, very easily if things get very bullish on a macro scale. So if that happens, I mean, this is literally, I mean, it would nearly double to go up to the all-time highs from here. So Ethereum right now has a lot of space to run. It did not establish resistance on the way down. It did not establish support. It didn't establish resistance on the way up, nor did it establish support on the way down. And that to me, those to me are big signs that this thing could actually rally really hard when things become very bullish again. I'm going to take a look at ADA, and then I'm going to round off the analysis and start going to your questions. Nothing I can say about ADA. It's encountering a little bit of resistance right now. I mean, what you're seeing right here, ladies and gents, is this is one of the reasons that I don't like analyzing the altcoin market too much, is that it's basically just at the mercy of Bitcoin. I mean, there's really not much that these things are doing that Bitcoin isn't. I mean, if you're analyzing Bitcoin, you're already getting nearly the full picture for Cardano right here. And I think that is very important to keep in mind, because if you don't keep that kind of stuff in mind, you're just lying to yourself. There's nothing major that Cardano can do right here, in my opinion. It is at resistance, so maybe it's going to tumble down, but so is Ethereum, so is Binance token, so is Bitcoin. So I don't know what to say. If Cardano manages to rise above $1.80, that would be where it's going to have a clear shot up to the all-time high, in my opinion, because there's no resistance that it established on the way up and no support that it established on the way down. You guys are starting to see a very familiar picture right here now, where most of these charts look the same. It's the same for Binance token, I've said as well. I've basically given you the same analysis 3 times, and that is because these markets, they are just not very different. So you guys are begging for different charts, but, well, some of you are, I'm sorry, not all of you, but some of you are begging for different charts, different shitcoins and things like that, but you're always going to get the same analysis for the most part if Bitcoin is crashing. and that is just because nobody cares about the rest of the altcoin markets if the big daddy is in trouble. And right now, it's in trouble, my friends. So that is important to keep in mind. Let's see what final questions you guys have in the comments for me. If you do have any final questions, then please do drop them down here in the live chat, and I will get to them. Thank you all very much for tuning in. We're up to 3,600 viewers. Make sure you hit up those likes if you're enjoying this live stream so far. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you enjoy this very grounded, realistic analysis. Bullish when the trend is bullish, bearish when the trend is bearish. That means it's unpopular. That means it's not agreeable, because most people are on the wrong side of this. In fact, 90% are on the wrong side of it. If you enjoy being in that top 10%, in that top 1%, this channel is for you. So make sure you hit up those likes and subscribe. Let's go through your final questions now. And once again, if you don't know where to trade, then Bybit is the best place to be, in my opinion. It's the exchange that I've been using for years. I love them. There is a link in the description, which ends, by the way, very, very soon. This link down below, this referral link, you're not going to be able to use by the end of this month. It is going to give you a $1,600 bonus. So later on, you'll get like I think a $600 bonus starting next month. But right now, for this month, and you don't have long left, it actually ends a little bit before the end of this month, if I'm not mistaken. You stand to gain up to $1,600 completely free of charge, depending on how much you deposit onto Bybit. So you can actually trade with that money. Any profits you make, you get to keep. There's no KYC required just to sign up and start trading. So well worth checking out. This is a great exchange. I've been with them for years. I work with them. That's how much I love them. Linked down below in the description, and also my tutorial on how to use them you can also find in the description as well. So make sure you sign up to them if you are looking for an exchange. You don't have to use them. There's many alternatives. You can Google it, but Bybit is definitely my favorite. I've been with them for a very, very long time. So definitely do check them out. That's a huge bonus. And if you are in the United States like me right now, you will need a VPN to access the website. So let's go to the live chat now and answer any final questions. Just going to bring this up one final time for you guys as well. Just stellar results across the VIP group at a profit during this crash. This is something that we see so much at a profit during this crash. I've been learning a lot through VIP. Haven't been trading nearly as much, but pulling these beautiful gains. I used to be so delusional and would have probably lost my entire bank account if I never joined VIP. Unfortunately, quite a common sentiment that we hear, but of course, now that you're in, it's a great place to be. Look at this, just making money on the way down, not only with Bitcoin, but also with Ethereum. Just amazing results. So if you want to see how people have been able to pull that off, then the steps to join are on screen. Let's see. Let's see what questions we have in the live chat right now. We're getting a lot of the same questions repeated, but I actually don't understand your question. So someone asking, ETH pressure line is 2,500 or 3,000? I don't know what pressure line is. The final key resistance is 2,500, I think. What's my take on Bonfire? No take. Please do VeChain analysis. No, sorry. I don't analyze VeChain. I don't trade VeChain, so I can't analyze it. I don't see the head and shoulders on Bitcoin. Someone's asking about head and shoulders on Bitcoin. I don't see it. At what price do I re-enter the market, given that even if it hits 42k, the risk of going back down is imminent? Well, the risk of going back down is not very high if we go above 42,000, in my opinion. What am I talking about? Swissborg? Yes, absolutely. Swissborg has been shat on in this market, and don't get me wrong, I love these guys. Like I said, I have an active partnership with them. That's how much I love their team. But this coin has just nuked. It's done terribly during this crash. It's actually one of the worst performers. I'm just going to be the first one to say it. Now, this wick may not be real, to be honest. I don't really believe this, but this is apparently down by 100%. Yeah, so this is definitely not real, but down to our current price, it's down by 53%. So that puts it right in the middle. Down to the other more realistic lows, it's dropped more than Binance token, for example. So this coin has been performing really badly. This is obviously a lot of panic, but long term, they've still been holding levels really well. I mean, for a coin that's only you know, in the later tier of like the top 100, it's somewhere like, I don't know, 90. For a coin like that, it's performing really well. I certainly think eventually it's going to recover. I told you guys I was selling a little bit of my holdings up here. I told you I was buying down here. I haven't sold anything else after this point. So, you know, I'm not worried about it. I'm still staking my CHSB tokens. I'm still earning more with the daily interest that they offer. You can sign up to the Swissborg platform down below, because I think now is a great entry price, or maybe not now, maybe it can dip a little bit lower, but to be able to stake and gain even more, if you do believe that it's going to recover, which I do, then this is just phenomenal, because I mean, that's a lot of profit that you could stand to make if you're actually gaining more interest on your CHSB tokens. So there you go. That's a little bit of Swissborg analysis. It's been a while, but there you go. Hope that does answer some of your concerns there. I certainly think it's going to rise back up eventually.
And it is going to be when the market overall starts looking a little bit more colorful and happy. Reverse head and shoulders, not interested in those patterns, to be honest. Guys, I need to head off. I'm starting to feel sick again, so I don't want to start looking terrible on a live stream. Yeah, these questions are starting to do my head in. Like, I don't know what most of these questions mean, so I'm gonna call it a day here. If you have enjoyed this live stream, then please go ahead and hit up the likes and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I do appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much for the support. We've just passed 91,000 subscribers. That is amazing. Thank you all so much. You guys know that the energy from my content is not going down. I'm going to keep on delivering even more for you guys. If you haven't already and you're new to these markets, then you need to watch my video, how to turn 1,000 into 1 million. Bitcoin trading ultimate in-depth guide. This is something for the absolute beginners. If you understood this live stream, then you probably don't need this video, but actually I would say that you should still check it out. It's only 50 minutes. You can watch it on 2x speed, which makes it 25 minutes long. You can skip ahead if you're finding that it's not particularly useful for you, but this is absolutely great for people who are beginners. This is going to tell you everything you need to know from start to finish to get started, and it's going to give you great steps moving forward as well. So definitely do check this video out if you are interested in that kind of stuff. All you have to do is click on my 4Fly's name wherever it is on this live stream, and then find this video, how to turn 1,000 into 1 million. That was posted roughly 4 weeks ago, and it's the only picture with it's the only thumbnail with my face on it. So yeah, 3 weeks ago, 29,000 views. This is the one to check out. So there you go. Make sure that you catch these videos when they're live, by the way. If you're not watching these live streams when they're live, then it's probably because you're either in a time zone that doesn't work for this, which is fine, you can't do anything about that, or you're just not subscribed, you don't have notifications turned on, or God forbid, you're not even in our free Telegram channel where I'm giving you updates on when these live streams will happen. I'm giving you reminders, you know, it's 1 hour away, it's 15 minutes away, things like that. I'm also giving you more free analysis on these markets. So there's a lot of value packed in there for free. If you like these videos, you're going to love that Telegram group. So definitely sign up to that. I mean, there's no sign up process, just join it. The first link in the description down below. And then if you want the information on VIP, these 2 additional clicks, my name at the bottom of any post inside of 4Flies Gold, and then send message. One final note, there are so many impersonators out here on YouTube, on Telegram, on Twitter, on Instagram, so many people impersonating me. They are making money off these scams, so don't fall for them. The only way to reach out to me for VIP is this. Only way. I do mention that if for some reason you don't see send message, you can DM me on Twitter. There are slower response times on here because I don't have my assistants on Twitter, it's only me. But Telegram, you know, if I'm not there, my assistants can reply to you and things like that. But in any case, these are the steps to join VIP. Any other social pages I have are linked here in the description or on my YouTube about page. Anything else is fake. Please keep that in mind. Anyway, really hope you have enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all in the next live stream. Take it easy.